Hammond Report for Wednesday, April 20th of 2022. It was just Roy Clark's birthday.
Thank you, Scott.
So today,
Scott's a good man.
Enjoy
Yes, he is. He's been
my interview with Roy Clark in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes. My name is Jon Hammond, but it's Jon, no H. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a big honor to meet you.
It is mine. Thank you.
You're a big hero of mine for a long, long time. You know.
Well, thank you.
And I'm a musician myself, you know, and I've been doing this cable TV show for 34 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know that I've had one for 34 years. Somebody's doing something right.
Well, we're on in Manhattan, you know, so I know that you did the Tonight shows that you did were in Manhattan, were at the Rockefeller Center at NBC?
Yes, sir, it sure was. It sure was.
Wow.
That's back in 1985 when, it was before Johnny Carson took over.
Uh-huh.
And that's when, the one that had the falling out with NBC.
Oh, yes, Jack
Parr.
Jack Parr, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he left, there was 6 weeks or something that they laid it over until to break that image, give Carson a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I fell in. Jimmy Dean got me on. He was guest hosting.
Jimmy's the man.
He's the man.
Right. And so I heard one story that he asked you if you could do the show, and you were pretty far away. You had to fly with a couple of different connections and get in there, go right directly to the studio, right?
We left Safford, Arizona. Well, in fact, Jimmy called on Thursday and said he had been trying to get a hold of me for a week, and said he wanted to have me on the Tonight Show, but he said tomorrow's my last day. And we said, well, see if they'll let me on if I get there. So I was in Safford, Arizona. So I got on a little private airplane, flew down to Tucson, from Tucson to Chicago, Chicago to New York, and then retraced it back to Safford, Arizona. And you would have thought that a major catastrophe had happened, because when we were driving back into Safford, about 10 miles out, the cars back up bumper to bumper, and we looked at one another, the pilot and I was thinking, what's happening here? He said, I have no idea, it just started. Closer we got to come and find out they had seen the show the night before and was there. We had to do 3 shows that night.
Wow.
In Safford.
Uh-huh.
After that trip to New York, overnight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And Jimmy Dean said, didn't see him till right before showtime.
Uh-huh.
And he said, how many tunes they got you down for? I said, well, they said maybe 2, and then maybe 1 with you, do a tune together. And he said, we'll just keep doing it till we get it right. When you leave here tonight, you're going to be tall hog at the trough.
All right.
In other words, if 2 songs don't get it, we'll do 2 more.
God bless Jimmy Dean.
That's it.
That's right. And do you remember who the band leader was at that time?
Sure, it was oh Lord, he was there before, stayed for a while after. I can see his face.
Well, we can look it up, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it again myself.
Yeah. Well, you know, I really love some of the guitars that you play. I'm an organ player and accordion. You know?
Ah, okay.
But I play a little bit of guitar. So since I'm a teenager, I had a Gibson Birdland with the Florentine cutaway, just like yours. You know?
I have it downstairs now.
You got the Birdland there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I got that Birdland because I saw you play it on television. You know, I said that's the most beautiful guitar I ever saw. You know, and I love it because it's a little smaller neck. You know.
Right, Hank Garland and Billy Bird.
Right. I
Yeah,
love
they,
that guitar.
oh.
And the back of the guitar is so beautiful. Sometimes I just want to wear it backwards to show everybody the back of the guitar. Yeah. But you, so you knew Mosley Mosrite? Because you played the Mosrite guitars
not
too?
as well as I could have and should have, because him being in California, mainly, and me being east of the Mississippi, all those great guitar players from out west, I didn't get a chance to steal licks from.
Yeah.
And but it's that Birdland. It's funny you bring that up. It's I was talking with Hank Garland right before it came out, and I was with Jimmy Dean, and he was with Eddie Arnold in Washington, and they came up to a club after we got through, and talking. He said, "That guitar sounds good that you're playing." I think it was a Gibson 225, thin. And it was a good guitar. But he said, Billy and I have come up with a deal with Gibson, and we've designed a guitar that I think you'll like. This is like 1956. The first one, I think, came out in 1957. And I was in front of the music store with my little stub, says, I'm getting a Birdland.
Wow.
I and bought it in Baltimore, of all places. Fred, he was the Gibson dealer in Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Well, I sure love the way you play that Birdland, and you've done some really innovative things with music and performances, like I love that country medley that you did with Flip Wilson. He was really a surprisingly excellent vocalist,
Yeah, he was a close friend. We did some little off-camera things that we got a kick out of, but the world will have to wait.
I'd love to see that. But I love that, and then I've never seen what you did with Glenn Campbell with the two men playing the same guitar, and that was really amazing because you didn't seem to get in each other's way, and you had everything going on. And what was it you told Glenn? You said, "Don't whisper in my ear."
We did, being as close of friends as we are, and he said, "Let's do this thing." He said, "I've done it a couple of times with, a couple other people," and I said, "Okay," but I said, "I get the front. If you're going to play in the back, I get the front." And that in itself made for a lot of humor.
I bet. Yeah, well, that was really great, Two great pickers and friends, and really wonderful. And, I did a radio show on CBS every morning, 4 o'clock in the morning for 4 years. And one of my favorite tracks that I used to play from you was the St. Louis Blues.
Wow, yeah. Every guitar player I've ever known plays the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's organ on the St. Louis Blues. So
I'm trying to think.
How did you cut that record? Was the organ player right there when you did it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember who the organ player was?
Yeah, and he was, I think we were on Capitol Records together, which gave us that both labels wanted to be part of this project that they were planning to do. Golly, and he was one of the hottest organ players. He was a jazz player. I mean, he got down on it.
I love that track.
I'll have to get it back and see what I did.
Yeah, it's beautiful. One of my favorite tracks to play from you. Well, you also incorporated a lot of humor into your playing, and it's very entertaining. You took it to all ages, So, I mean, nobody knows more jokes than Roy Clark. Can you lay one on us?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. Let me see. Well, that one has to go. I can't tell that. That's the problem. Oh, they're not bad. They just, some of them, my mother would consider to be naughty.
Well, we're on cable TV, so, it's not.
Maybe we can get away with it.
Right.
Let me think about it.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of
While
one.
you're thinking, I just want to say kudos to you congratulations for establishing the Roy Clark Elementary School in Tulsa.
Whoa.
That's a really beautiful thing. And I know at the school that bears your name, there's got to be music in that school, right?
Well, it is that. And these kids, somebody said, what's the most honored thing that you have received? And I said, well, there's been a lot of great things that have been bestowed on me, and one of them being the elementary school for the kids in Tulsa. And I said, where can you go and top being around young kids that will be influenced by what you are talking to them about or that you stand for. And I mean, they walk up and say, I go to Roy Clark School. It don't get any better.
That's beautiful. Well, I'm sure that you set a lot of kids straight on their way, and they've been a big inspiration to so many different generations now, myself and everybody. You know, Hee Haw was just came into everybody's living room.
Yes, it did.
You know, and you made everybody smile and brought great music on there, and you had such a range of different guests on there.
That was it. Nothing was. We went everywhere from Savvy Davis Jr. to Billy Graham, to Oral Roberts, to everybody wanted to be on the show.
Right.
They wanted to be on it and be part of it. And so it was an honor for me to be bumping up shoulders to all of the ones that I admire so much.
Well, we do music, travel, and soft news, you know. That's what I say my topics of my show, you know. But when it comes to travel, nobody did more traveling than Roy Clark, right?
I sometimes think back on it and the places I've been and how long it took me to get there. When we started, it was just my wife and I in a 1957 Ford station wagon. And we went out the first year on travel. My wife and I think it was about, I can't remember the mileage against the time, but we were home. I think the first year we were home for, I think about 30 days out of a year.
Wow.
And that doesn't give you a whole lot.
Were you the driver, Roy?
I drove.
Did your wife drive too?
She drove.
Uh-huh.
And then.
Did she keep you awake at the wheel?
Oh yeah, was what she did. Good driver. Is I would sleep, she'd drive, and then we would get to the town that we were going to play. She would. She'd go in the hotel, or back then it was motel. A lot of motels around, and the price was right.
They're giving me the signal. We got to wrap it up. You got a quickie?
Yes, but we'd both be off the air come Monday.
Roy, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Big honor to meet you and speak with you, and we're looking forward to hear you presenting at the Eagle Awards this afternoon. So
Thank you.
You just made my whole trip to Nashville, and we're going to send this out over New York City and streaming all over the world.
All right.
So before we get out of here, just say one last thing before you say bye to us.
I did not write St. Louis Blues, but I love to play it.
All right. I sure love the way you play it. Thanks a lot, Roy Clark, everybody.
Thank you.
You're the greatest. You're a living legend. Thanks, Roy.